Over the last 2 weeks, I have been testing and listening to these, the Jabra Elite 75Ts. They are some very pricey TWS earbuds. They sell for 170 euros here in Spain. And for that price, you'd expect super high quality sound, great build, good feature set, and they definitely deliver on that front. However, unlike some of the competitors, they are missing out on active noise cancellation. But apart from that, these to me are fantastic sounding earbuds, the best that I have heard. Small disclaimer as well, these were sent out to me free of charge in exchange for this honest review. Now, I have not been paid for this. I'm not passing this video by Jabra first before they approve it, and all the opinions here expressed 100% my own. Inside our box, you'll find them nicely presented. Now we get 2 small tips and 2 large tips if the mediums that are already pre-applied do not fit, and a Type-C to USB cable. The Elite 75Ts have a very small case that they come in, and this gives you an additional up to 28 hours of charge. And I have noticed that with the earbuds, they claim 7.5 hours. I'm getting around 6 to 6.5, but it all depends on your volume, genre of music, etc. You get the idea. That's just an estimate. I guess if you lower the volume, then you probably could actually get the 7 to 7.5 hours. So this case is really nice and compact. I do like what they've done here, and we've got this excellent finish to it. Nice plastics, there's no sharp edges. It does fit the price tag, as you'd expect, that these are expensive TWS earbuds, but the build quality, they definitely deliver there in that department. So the buttons on the top where it says Jabra, they are hardware click-in buttons, and this is the best. I hate those capacitive ones because they don't often work all of the time. These ones work 100% of the time. So you tap and hold to volume up or tap and hold to volume down, depending on which one you're using. They will work with assistants like Google Assistant, Siri, and you can even assign, if you want through the application, to use Amazon Assistant as well there too, if you wanted to. So when you pull them out, they will automatically pair up. You can see the Pogo port connector pin right there for them. And they do have 4 microphones. So there's one here, one at the top. I believe the top one is the one that's using the noise cancellation. Fit in place with magnets, nice and snug. And I'll just put them back in here. You can see that status LED flashing. It would probably come on if it needed to charge, but I do believe I have 100% battery at the moment. So it clips down very nice with a nice little bit of noise there to it, that the magnet's gonna hold it in place. So very portable size. On the back there is our Type-C port and status LED. This is the optional app here, so you don't have to use it. It's called Sound Plus from Jabra that works with their tech, but I do recommend that you at least, when you first get them, run this app because there's a firmware update that comes through just to help improve the quality and fix even a few little bugs and things now and then with these earbuds, so that's why it's really recommended. So you have an equalizer in here. Now a lot of you are probably gonna say, well, I don't need an equalizer because I use Power Amp or my music player has an equalizer, but this is very handy because remember, this is a global equalizer. So if you're watching a movie that the bass is overpowering, you can go in here and go, no, you know what? I'm gonna just tone that bass down a little and then it won't be affecting that movie then. So that is why it is actually quite handy to have this. Now I'm running it, of course, in default for this review. So they've got this really handy feature here called Hear Through. Now what this does is it passes through the sound from those 4 microphones to you, okay? So you can hear those announcements from when the next train is coming, so you know which platform to get. Or if you want to hear office workers, you're in an office, you want to hear your co-workers talking to you and ask you, hey, did you get my message or whatever, then you enable this and you can hear that. Now, if you boost this right up with the mic, the gain basically, it almost acts like then a spying device or a hearing aid boosting your hearing, and you can even hear things that probably you shouldn't be, like other people's conversations from the desk over there. So it is actually quite effective, and I normally wouldn't use it, but if you're definitely on a bus or a train and you need to hear those announcements and things, this is very handy to have. There's a few other things in there with the app that you can go through and set up, but really I won't go into any of that. There's another handy thing too, that you've got your battery life percent at the top, even though when you connect these up, it will actually show you. So when you connect them up for the first time, it'll come up and tell you the remaining battery percent. Most importantly, how do these sound? Now these are 170 euros that they sell for here in Spain, and are they worth that money? Do you get high quality sound out of these? The best that you'd expect for that price. And yes, they do not disappoint in that area. These sound absolutely fantastic. To put it this way, when I first got these, I was up until 1:30 in the morning listening to all my favorite tracks and basically just going, wow, these actually sound really, really good. Now, I think the bass, the way they are tuned just out of the box, their default tune is a little bit on the heavy side. Now, a lot of people will probably like this. This is subjective, of course, but to me, it's just a little bit overpowering. A couple of movies that I was watching, I found the explosions and things like that, bass was just rumbling away, and I felt that, you know, it's just a little bit too overpowering then. So a little disappointed they tuned that so high for the bass there, but otherwise the vocals, the mids, the separation you get from the instruments, the clarity we're getting here, and those instruments really do come alive. This has superb sound, both of them. These TWS earbuds, hands down the best that I have heard so far. So they really do come highly recommended for that. But also, as you'll hear now from my sample of the microphones, it's also probably one of the best you'll hear in terms of microphone performance from TWS earbuds. So it's got those 4 microphones and 2 of them on each, so 1 on each of the earbuds is also using noise cancellation. So you do get much better quality, I find, with voice calls, this microphone quality versus all the rest that I have reviewed in the channel. Now sadly, when it comes to the sync here, now Bluetooth never is the best. There always seems to be a little bit of a delay in the content you're watching, and you'll notice that it doesn't perfectly sync with people's lips when they're talking. For example, here in Amazon Prime watching Picard, there is about a millisecond or 2 delay. Now most people probably wouldn't even detect it or see it. It looks like it's going with their lips, but it is actually the audio behind the video, just a fraction of a second there, that may irritate some people. So let's talk about the comfort of these. And I've got them in my ear now, and I haven't had them come out on me. And I don't feel like, especially when you take off a t-shirt or something like that, you get changed and you're wearing them, they shouldn't snag on anything. It's a much smaller design compared to the previous model, the 65Ts. And the case, I love the size of this case. It is so small, so they're not going to be class winning in terms of battery performance with these. That will still go to the creative Outlet Golds that I have. But these sound a lot better, and I'm willing to trade off a bit of battery life for the amazing sound that these here have. So they claim 7.5 hours. That's what you can get out of these on a single charge. I'm getting around 6 hours towards 6.5 there. So slightly lower, but it of course depends on your volume settings, the genre of music you're listening to. If it's got heavy bass in it, then that will probably consume a little bit more battery. So that's to be expected. An additional 28 hours out of the case, so you do get quite a few more charges there, which is great there. So really good build quality, very good microphones as you heard from my sample. Trust me, those mics are actually quite good. Not quite as good as, say, your mobile phone, but almost. I've heard some terrible microphones on TWS Tech, and those ones are really right up there as much, much, much better. So great for call quality. Now the range disconnects, I've had no problems with that. Very good range as well with these. You get a bit of passive noise cancellation, but it doesn't have active noise cancellation. That's one thing I feel for the price of these, 170 euros, they're quite pricey, that it should really have that active noise cancellation. Competitors now are also introducing that into TWS Tech. So really, I think with the next model, we will probably actually see that they will incorporate some form there of active noise cancellation. So fantastic sound, really good out of these. I mean, when I first started to use them, I ended up getting into one of those modes there that I started listening to all my favorite tunes, and I was up until 1:30 in the morning listening to these going, hey, these actually really sound good. It really rekindled that fire in me to start listening to more tracks with these. Now the bass, however, I feel, now this is subjective of course, to me personally, I think they went just a tad overboard on the default tuning of these, the way they sound out of the box, that they just upped the bass a little too much. But saying that, it doesn't distort, so very loud bass that doesn't distort, clear, heavy, hard-hitting bass, rumbling. If you've got explosions in movies and things like that, we can actually feel it. It feels like big bass, and that is pretty amazing considering that the drivers in these are only 6mm, but they have tuned them really well. It shows their experience that Jabra have with their audio tech. And so your highs, your vocals, very crisp highs there. Vocals come through, instruments just sound great. I can't emphasize enough how good these sound for TWS Tech. So that is my review there of the Jabra Elite 75Ts. Come highly recommended for those that don't mind on missing out on that active noise cancellation. Thank you so much for watching this review. Hope to see you back in my next audio review and my future up and coming tech reviews as well.